I'm not gonna lie, heading into the winter meetings this year, I thought it would be a snooze fest. The 2018 offseason brought me flashbacks of mystery teams and nonsense tweets, and I thought it would be the same story this year. I was very wrong. The first month of this offseason has brought more excitement than the entire 2018 offseason. Scandals, both on the field and off the field related, new uniforms, and of course, the incredibly large contracts that have been given. When the amount of money being thrown around in the span of a few days is larger than the GDP of some countries, then you know we are in an offseason worth paying attention to. This means that there have been way more winners this offseason than there have been losers. This also means that there are some winners that have been under the radar. They have been hidden because of the big money that has been thrown around. So today I would like to highlight a few of these under the radar winners, particularly from the winter meetings, but maybe outside of the winter meetings as well. Firstly, this will be kind of an honorable mention, but at the same time, I still want to talk about it. I want to talk about Scott Boras. I'm sure you've seen that he has made 3 of his clients a combined $878 million. They just so happen to be the top 3 most coveted free agents of the offseason. They all signed within a week of each other at the winter meetings. Scott Boras is clearly the king of baseball sports agents. I mean, just look at this headline. An agent is about to make more money this upcoming offseason than most of the players in the league. That's insane. No one really knows the exact amount he's gonna make, but if it's assumed he gets the standard commission of around 5% from all of the contracts of the players he represents, he'll be making at least $27 million next season, which would make him the 15th highest paid player in baseball. I think I might need a career change. Hang on a sec. Oh, he has a law degree. Alright, let's just stick to YouTube for now. Now, onto the real list. The first winner is actually not a single player. It's rather a group of players. Those players are the mid-rotation starters that are still on the market. Those guys are Madison Bumgarner, Hyunjin Ryu, and Dallas Keuchel. Now, Ryu just had the best season of his career, but he does have an injury history. Bumgarner and Keuchel are both solid pitchers, but on a playoff contender, I wouldn't want them at the top of the rotation. That's what I mean when I said mid-rotation starter, but they are all very good pitchers. Anyway, because of the giant contracts that Gerrit Cole and Steven Strasburg were given, along with the sizable contracts that Zach Wheeler, Cole Hamels, and Jake Odorizzi have signed, the price for starting pitching is higher than ever, especially as the options are dwindling down. So as a result, the top pitchers that are still left are all under the radar winners because of the deals that Strasburg and Cole signed at the winter meetings. However, there is another pitcher that benefited from the inflated pitchers market at the winter meetings. That pitcher is Tanner Roark, the second under the radar winner. On the 3rd day of the winter meetings, after Cole and Strasburg had signed, Roark signed a 2-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays, worth $12 million per season. Now, when you look at his stats from last year, he wasn't bad by any means. He was a solid pitcher, someone you would be confident to put in the 3rd or 4th spot in the rotation. At the same time though, I feel like Roark benefited from the inflated pitchers market. Many teams are desperate for at least competent starting pitchers, and Toronto is one of those teams. They have many young guys who are poised to break out as early as next year, and the majority of those guys are hitters. So they need to stack the rotation with solid pitchers as soon as possible. The rotation is pretty decent now, and Roark will provide help for the team. But what I feel makes this a real win for Roark is that he may have peaked already. He really could be on the decline. When you look at his career stats, the only real eye-catching season is 2016, which was his age 29 season. I don't think this is a bad deal for the Blue Jays. If the deal had been more than 2 years, it could have been considered an overpay. But in my opinion, it's a team-friendly deal, and Roark was able to get paid, so that's why Tanner Roark is a winner. Sticking with pitchers, I promise this is the last one. The next under-the-radar winner is Blake Treinen. This reliever got a 1-year, $10 million deal from the LA Dodgers. You may think, well, for that kind of money, obviously he was great last season. Well, let's look at his 2019 season. Negative .3 WAR with the Athletics last season. That got him $10 million. Well, actually, there are a few reasons why he got $10 million. When you look at his 2017 and 2018 seasons, particularly his 2018 season, he was incredible, one of the best relievers in the league. The Dodgers have way too much money to play with anyway, so they can afford giving a guy $10 million with the chance that he bounces back. Secondly, the reliever market is very limited. There are not too many quality relievers on the market. The best one was arguably Drew Pomeranz. Despite the fact he only became a reliever in the middle of last season, he earned a 4-year, $34 million contract. That leads to my last point, recency bias. The amazing half-season Drew Pomeranz had got him $34 million. Despite the fact that Treinen was terrible last season, a team was still willing to give him $10 million, despite the recency bias. This is why he is an under-the-radar winner of the winter meetings. The next player was in a similar situation as Treinen. That player is Gregorius. Last season was his worst season since 2014, which was also the last time he missed significant time with injury before 2018. Despite how bad he played last season, along with the amount of time he missed, he still earned a 1-year, $14 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. His situation is so similar to Treinen's. Gregorius is probably coming off the worst season of his career, like Treinen, but he still has the highest ceiling of any shortstop on the market, as the market is very limited. So he earned a big money deal from a team that has too much money anyway, so he can show his worth, like Treinen. That checks the boxes for under the radar winner for me. The next winner is actually not a player. It is the general manager of the LA Angels, Billy Eppler. He has been the GM of the team since the 2015 offseason, so it has been a long process to try and bring the Angels back to playoff contention. There have been hiccups along the way, like dealing with the Pujols contract, Justin Upton not completely living up to his contract, and Shohei Ohtani getting injured. However, in 2020, there is the potential for a plethora of stars on this team. Of course, you have Mike Trout and a returning Shohei Ohtani who can both hit and pitch. But now you have Anthony Rendon joining the mix. This could end up being an overpay, but right now, the Angels had to get another star to complement Trout. And despite missing out on Garrett Cole, they still got a star. So an overpay is probably out of the question for right now. Also, top prospect Joe Adell will probably be up next season, and he could also be a game changer for the team. The AL West will be a tough division with the Astros, Athletics, and even the Rangers looking to make waves. In the end, I have to applaud Billy Eppler for giving baseball fans the best chance ever to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. And finally, speaking of the fans, the final under-the-radar winner of the winter meetings is, well, us, the fans. I also want to tie in the reporters that were at the winter meetings. Looking back on it, you have to kind of feel bad for those reporters last season, because the most hyped up players didn't sign until right before spring training. The most exciting time of the season for a reporter is the offseason, so 2018 was generally a letdown. Well, not this offseason. The winter meetings was the place to be for the reporters. The best 3 free agents all signed within the span of 3 days. Over $800 million was spent in the span of 3 days. That is not something you should expect to see as a baseball fan, or even as a reporter. So much happened during these winter meetings. As a result, the fans and reporters were winners. As you can probably tell, I love baseball, so even when the games are done for the season, I am constantly paying attention to what is going on in the league. Not just because of this channel, but because I love the sport. Exploring the league in general and learning new things is always fun too. And that's what I wanted to do in this video. This group of guys may not get the headlines like Cole, Strasburg, or Rendon, but they all deserve the spotlight. In my book, they are all winners this offseason. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.